We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا ما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يئوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد فاتح لما أغلق خاتم لما سبق ناصر والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره دار عظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
June 2023 at 3 p.m. at the Caribou Beach Hotel for the following purposes. Ordinary resolutions. 1. To receive and adopt the annual report on consolidated accounts for the year ended 31st December 2022. To declare dividend. To re-elect directors Mr. Franklin A. Hayford, Mr. Ansumana Ellen Toure. To ratify the appointment of the following directors, Mr. Salum Malang, Mrs. Hadi Salah, and Mr. Abdullah Jallo. 5. To approve the remuneration of directors. 6. To appoint DT Associates as auditors of the bank until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. 7. To authorize the board to determine the remuneration of the auditors. And 8. To transact any other business appropriate to be dealt with at any annual general meeting. Thank you.
I'll now read the statement from the chairperson. On behalf of the board of directors of Trust Bank, I would like to welcome you to our 2022 annual general meeting. We have held our meetings virtually for the past 2 years due to COVID-19 restrictions. This year, as well as returning to a physical location, we have modified the AGM process a little to retain This year, as well as returning to a physical location, we have modified the AGM process a little to retain a virtual element to help maximize shareholder involvement and engagement, particularly for those who do not reside permanently in the Gambia. Your bank celebrated the 25-year history of the business in October 2022, a milestone that prompted us to reflect on who we are and what we have achieved, even as we embrace new opportunities. The COVID-19 pandemic put our business and all of us to test. Since then, in addition to COVID-19, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is having a terrible impact on millions, including our own people. Through the challenge of COVID-19 and now, through this current conflict, I've seen the amazing way that the board, management, and staff take care of each other and the business. It makes me immensely proud. Our resilience and adaptability are our greatest strengths. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted that the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan that we approved in December 2021 has enabled us to make a remarkable turnaround, ranking us as one of the best performing banks for the 2022 financial year in the country. Global economic environment. Global economic growth is decelerating and outlook remains uncertain. The ongoing war in Ukraine, aggressive monetary policy tightening response to the rising inflation, and tight fiscal conditions are dragging global growth. As a result, the International Monetary Fund, in its October 2022 World Economic Outlook, forecasts global growth to slow from 6% in 2021 to 3.2% in 2022 and rise slightly to 2.7% in 2023. While global inflation remains elevated, there are signs that price pressures may be moderating, with the IMF forecasting global inflation to decelerate from 6.5% in 2023 to 8.8% in 2022. On the domestic front, the prospects of the Gambian economy remain optimistic despite global challenges. The Central Bank Composite Index of Economic Activity indicated that economic activity improved in the third quarter 2022, and the output gap is positive. Although the rising cost of living continued to hold back household consumption in 2022, public and private construction, agricultural outputs, and tourism contributed to the growth resilience of the economy. As a result, the bank forecasted the economy to grow by 5.2% in 2022, unchanged from the August forecast. Risks to the growth outlook, however, remain significant, including rising inflation expectations, vulnerable external balances, and uncertain global economic and geopolitical operating environment. The Gambian economy is facing multiple exogenous shocks, including the repercussions of the war in Ukraine, the lingering impact of COVID-19 pandemic, and the devastating flood that struck our country. Growth projections have been revised downwards from 5.6% to 4.5%. These shocks are generating foreign exchange shortages and weighing on forex reserves. As a result, the Gambian dalasi weakened against the United States dollar by some 17% to close 2022 at 61.95 Gambian dalasis to a US dollar, as the spillovers from the Russian-Ukraine war caused net investment outflow, putting pressure on the dalasi. The local unit has, however, held up relatively well in the foreign market so far in 2023, appreciating roughly 3% against the greenback as at the end of April 2023. Inflation reached a record high level of 13.2% year-on-year in October 2022. The Central Bank of Gambia further increased its policy rate to 13% in 2022 to tackle inflationary pressures. Yields on government securities continue to rise in response to the tight monetary policy stance of the bank. The weighted average interest rate on treasury bills increased from 1.25% in November 2021 to 8.71% in November 2022. The banking system continues to be stable with robust financial soundness indicators. The risk-weighted capital adequacy ratio stood at 26.3% in September 2022, higher than the regulatory requirement of 10%. The liquidity ratio stood at 63.4%, also above the regulatory requirement of 30%. The industry's non-performing loan ratio remains low at 4.2%, and banks maintained adequate level of provisioning. Growth in monetary aggregates continues to decelerate. Annual money supply growth slowed from 12.2% in September 2022 relative to 20.9% to the same period a year ago. owing to the contraction in the net foreign assets of both the central bank and the commercial banks. Reserve money contracted by 6% in September 2022, compared to a growth of 24% a year ago. Despite the contraction, reserve money is still above the end September target. Rebranding. Ladies and gentlemen, in October 2022, the bank migrated from Trust Bank Limited to Trust Bank PLC. Apart from the change in the name and legal, we needed a new logo that would fit with our new brand architecture, while also existing as our own unique entity to ensure that our brand remains trusted and relevant to all stakeholders. The new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We have moved away from the navy and gold colored parallelogram shaped logo to a baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The new logo is more symbolic and accurately depicts our heritage as well as the expectations of what Trust Bank brand stands for. Furthermore, it symbolizes the sustained growth we have set out to achieve. As some of you may already know, the Central Bank of the Gambia is at the very advanced stage of setting up the capital market. As part of our rebranding strategy, your bank is well placed to meet both the legal and regulatory requirements for listing on the upcoming capital market in the Gambia. Our focus and priority continues to be providing a high-quality service that our customers can rely on for their banking needs. However, there will be changes in our own identity system, our domain name, website, and social media profiles. We're empowered by these changes because we believe they will put us in a position to be more competitive and offer more capabilities to our customers. We will continue to grow and expand our services, accomplish local and international objectives, and foster and develop new client relationships. The group's performance. Our performance in 2022 has demonstrated huge progress in the actions we believe will drive sustainable growth in financial returns. We have delivered growth in profitability despite challenging market conditions. Interest income grew by 25% to 666.3 million Gambian dollars, driven by growth in lending as well as growth in investment in government securities. Profit before tax went up by 93.03% to 346.4 million Gambian dollars. Total assets increased to 10.487 billion Gambian dollars, while customers' deposits at 9.2 billion Gambian dollars grew by 3.7%. Total operating costs, excluding impairment, increased by 13.9% to 568.2 million Gambian dollars, in line with inflation and general increase in the prices of goods and services. Net loans and advances grew by 98% to 4.5 billion Gambian dollars. Loan impairment was up from 179,000 Gambian dollars to 37.3 million Gambian dollars in 2022. There has been no significant deterioration in the credit quality of our loan book, although stress still remains. The increase in impairment charges was largely due to the increase in the loan book, but non-performing loan ratio remained low at 0.7%, a slight improvement from 0.8% in 2021. Earnings per share increased by 65% from 75 butut per share in 2021 to 124 butut per share in 2022. Capital adequacy of the bank stood at 17%, well above the minimum regulatory requirement of 10%. This will provide room to support our customers with access to loans. The Managing Director, Mrs. Njilan Sengo, and her management team are building upon the bank's solid balance sheet, long-standing customer and community relationships, while establishing our new brand identity. And this is what I'm sure most of you would like to know. Dividends. The board is recommending payment of a final dividend of 30 butut per share, bringing the total dividend paid for 2022 to 75 butut per share. This represents an increase of 36.4% from 2021 dividend paid. The board recognizes the importance of dividend to shareholders and believes in balancing return with investment to supporting future growth while preserving good capital ratios. Our strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, your bank's 5-year strategic plan formulated over a year ago continues to facilitate growth and organizational resilience. The strategic plan, founded on digital innovations for service delivery, enhanced customer experience, and increased operational efficiencies, have resulted in a healthier and robust balance sheet. 2022 marked the first year of the implementation of our strategic plan. In late 2021, we embarked on a journey to reposition the bank for higher returns and sustainable growth. On the heels of a challenging year, we have made substantial changes in the business to address the underlying issues that negatively impacted our performance. Top on the agenda was to address the high interest expense, provide practical support to our customers, extend lending tenure, and also review and realign our fees and charges to ensure that we are not losing out to our closest competitors. The implementation was not devoid of challenges, but thanks to the astuteness of our management team, we were able to manage all those challenges along the way and develop phenomenal results. Today, we can see the payoff, which also serves as a solid foundation for the next 4 years. Corporate governance. The risk governance framework is based on a clear understanding of the various risks, disciplined risk assessment, and continuous monitoring for mitigation. The board of directors oversees all the risks assumed by the bank. We continue to strengthen our risk governance structures in order to enhance operational controls. The board closely monitors business ethics and conducts through the requisite governance committees. To inculcate the right culture, we shall continue to promote high standards of behavior and competence across the firm. To underscore our commitment to good governance, we have invested in bolstering our compliance regime by rolling out updated policies and procedures in acquisition and enhancement of customer due diligence applications. During the year, a dedicated information security unit was formed and headed by a Chief Information Security Officer. This unit sets out processes using technology to continuously monitor and improve the bank's security posture while preventing, detecting, analyzing, and responding to cybersecurity incidents. These measures, coupled with continuous enhancements of the financial crime controls of the bank, are seen as remain one of the best managed banks in the Gambia. Environmental and social governance. Environmental and social governance matters remains an area of significant focus for the bank and the board, given the responsibilities we have to customers, shareholders, communities, our own people, and the environment. Apart from the rebranding, another objective is to build the Trust Bank brand around the new set of values that promote environmental and social considerations. As a result, Trust Bank will not support any institution or business whose activities are causing pollution or destruction of the natural environment, whether through accidental or deliberate actions or unacceptable standards of employment and business ethics. This set of values is as important to us as our pursuit of financial success. Changes to the board. I'd like to thank my board colleagues for their dedication and hard work and the diverse perspectives they bring to our discussions. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Salon Manlang and Ms. Hadisala, both of whom joined the board in 2022. If you could please stand up for members too. And Mr. Abdullah Jallo, who recently joined us in 2023. We also announced the resignation from the board of Mr. Pa Makumba Njai and Mr. Abdullah Tambedu. We thank them both for their stellar service. I would like to acknowledge the long and exceptional service of Mr. Pa Makumba Njai, who resigned after nearly 25 years association with Trust Bank. Mr. Njai was the first managing director of the bank. He retired in 2016 and continued to serve as a non-executive director until his resignation in 2022. Congratulations, Mr. Njai, and thank you for your invaluable service to the bank. Mr. Njai, if you could stand up for us to see you. Where is he? Please stand up and then. Thank you, Mr. Njai. Corporate Social Responsibility Program. Trust Bank continues to make a difference in our communities through our corporate social responsibility programs. Our CSR programs champion the empowerment of our youth in sports and other disciplines, protecting and preserving our environment, and promoting education and health. In August 2022, the bank responded directly to the plight of the victims of the floods that hit the country with the donation of $1 million to the National Disaster Management Agency through the Vice President's office. On another level, and in marking the bank's Silver Jubilee, we donated medical supplies and drugs to major government hospitals across the length and breadth of the country, including Canifing General Hospital, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital Dialysis Unit, Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital, Bundung Maternity Hospital, Bansang General Hospital, Farafeni General Hospital, Biam General Hospital, and Bassa District Hospital. In the process, we also adapted the maternity unit wards of Bansang and Bassa hospitals. Trust Bank spent a total of 1.8 million on these initiatives. We have donated over 80 computers to schools and organizations of the less privileged across the country. With this donation, we hope to promote information and communication technology in our schools to prepare school leavers for the job market. The ultimate objective is to make it possible for more people to access, generate, and share ideas in a world where ICT plays a larger role than ever before in how we conduct business. Acknowledgement. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, we as a board remain focused in supporting management as we operated in this incredibly challenging and unpredictable environment, as well as overseeing the company's achievement in our strategic objectives. Our task is to maintain the growth trajectory as we proceed into 2023 with a degree of cautious optimism. We look to a long-term potential of the business to ensure that we are making the progress that will make those who pass its stewardship to us proud, and with a view to inspire future generations who will take it over. Finally, I'd like to thank Mrs. Angela Nsengo and her strong and capable leadership team for everything they delivered in 2022. On behalf of the board, I extend my thanks to all our people who have built the bank into what it is today, and to all our stakeholders for your continued support. Thank you very much. I'll now ask the auditors, DT Associates, to read their report. But do we have
Good afternoon, board. Good afternoon, shareholders, management and staff of Trust Bank Gambia Limited. My name is Ramatulai Jallo, the engagement manager for this assignment. With me, I have Fatmata Ba, the engagement quality control reviewer of this file. And with her is Mama Jang, who is the audit senior. The managing partner, Mrs. Ajipenda Sankare, is unavoidably absent and extends her apology to the board. Kindly turn to page 15 for the audit opinion. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would like to read the first paragraph of the opinion and the signature page. Thank you. To the shareholders of Trust Bank Group, report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated financial statements of Trust Bank Gambia and its subsidiaries, the group, which comprise the consolidated statements of financial position as at 31st December 2022, and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the statements of changes in equity, and the statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the consolidated financial position of the group as of 31st December 2022 and its consolidated financial performance and consolidated cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRSs, and requirements of the Companies Act of 2013 and Banking Act 2009. Can you turn to page 17? The engagement partner on the last paragraph, the engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Ajipenda Sankare. This is signed by DT Associates, Chartered Accountants, Registered Auditors on 28th of April 2023. Thank you very much.
Which the motion will be put to the meeting. I'll be grateful if questions are only asked which relate directly to the motion in question. Resolutions will be carried by show of hands. Where the four are not obviously more than half of the shareholders, the stewards on a sign from the secretary will count the number of persons voting for and against the resolution. If the votes are counted and are fairly close, the chairman may add the proxy votes he holds. If the resolution is defeated, including the proxy votes, the chairman will call for a poll. Articles of the association provide that members holding 10% of the shares of the share capital may demand a poll. The first item on the agenda for consideration is the annual report and consolidated accounts for the year ended December 2022. I propose that the annual report and consolidated account for the year ended 31st December 2022, submitted to the meeting, be received and adopted. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Your name? Okay. Any questions? That's okay. Yes. Yes, sir. The yes.
the very outset, I just want to congratulate you as chair of the board and the managing director for excellent results that have been delivered in 2022. It's a major improvement from last year, and we encourage you and I mean, basically urge you to keep up the momentum. You have new faces on the board, and I'm sure with their dynamism, they will also add value. Now, what I observe is that we have two major institutional investors, one private and one public. The private is Data Bank, and the public is Social Security. We have also done something very significant, which is to transition to a PLC. Of course, I always take pride in the fact that Trust Bank was the first bank or the first company from the Gambia to have a cross-border listing in the Ghana Stock Exchange, and that had yielded significant results. I was privileged to have attended that session when I was invited by the board in my then capacity as president of the Chamber of Commerce. So I have very fond memories of that. Going forward, immediately after that, in 2015, we went on a study tour to Ghana to look at how Ghana has developed their stock exchange. And we were wholeheartedly welcome, including by your very good self and the current Minister of Finance. And we had an MOU with the Ghana Stock Exchange as well as the Security Exchange Commission. This was in 2015. Fast forward, we are now in 2023. And up to today, Gambia is the only country in West Africa that does not have a stock exchange. When we went to Ghana in 2015, Morsise was then the permanent secretary and head of delegation. Today, he is chief of staff of the president. And I hope and pray that before the end of 2023, you will see Trust Bank, PLC, increasing their share capital and offering the opportunity for Gambians to also own additional shares in the bank. This is this is overdue any way or manner you stretch it. Going forward, we have Social Security on the board. Social Security is not a government agency. It belongs to the pensioners, those in the public sector as well as those in the private sector, under the Provident Fund. So government is essentially a trustee. But what baffles me is the fact that most of the lending by Social Security goes to government institutions or to government outfits by decree or by directive. And I think we have moved away from a dispensation of directives and decrees, where now Social Security really needs to look at how it can partner with Trust Bank to really move this country forward in relation to opportunities, investment opportunities that are abound. I also want to congratulate Trust Bank for really taking the bull by the horns and being the first bank to access the Afri-Exim Bank opportunities to the tune of 30 million. Some of you will recall that with the new dispensation, the Afri-Exim Bank visited the Gambia. And they pledged, and that pledge is still outstanding, $500 million exclusively for Gambia to finance agriculture, to finance tourism, and to finance the services sector. We have not taken advantage. We really need to think global and really be pace setters in terms of taking advantage of these opportunities. On a final note, I noted with pride the tributes made to Mr. Papa Panjai as the pioneer managing director of the bank, and what he has been able to achieve in the bank. And it is said that as leaders, we create more successful leaders. He handed over to Pa Ibusala, who also did a fantastic job. And we now have, for the first time in our history, a woman leading the bank. I always say that in Africa there is a very pertinent proverb that says if you want something done, if you want something said, you ask a man. If you want something done, you ask a woman. So I'm sure with Nilan in the bank and also having gender representation, I think this is the first board where I'm seeing, I think, 4 women, all very dynamic. And women are always have more empathy and more sympathy. So hopefully when we come for loans, you will be sympathetic to our cause. Mr. Chairman, on a final note, when I travel around West Africa, every airport I land, the plane starts going down. It says Kwame Nkrumah International Airport, Blaise Diagne Airport, Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Sékou Touré Airport. It is only in Gambia where it says, welcome to Banjul International Airport. We do not celebrate our own. And I think that should change with the bank. You have over 18 branches. It's nice to say Bakau branch, it's nice to say Westfield branch, but it would be nicer if you recognize the people that really planted the seeds of the bank. And there is no harm in saying Westfield, whatever name you want to put in the bank, Birkama, whatever name you want to put in it now. But at least put a name and then the location of the bank. I think that really serves as an inspiration, because I recall reading the book by one of our founder politicians, J.C. Faye, and a very noted historian, A.E. Cham Juve, said something very poignant. He said, history cannot proceed in silence. We are all sitting here. My very good friend, the chairman, was here when they started the bank. In 5-10 years down the road, we will not be around. But it will be important for those that are coming in, that are going to taste the mango tree, the mango fruit, to know that somebody planted that tree. And in fairness, Ken Ofori-Atta did a lot for the bank. Kumanjai did phenomenal well for the bank. And it will be heartening to see a branch or a head office or some institution of the bank named in their memory whilst they are still alive. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to acknowledge he's kept us on our toes for the past 25 years, and he always does well, comes out through for us. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Njai, which branch do you want? Yes.
Thank you for that innovation.
Okay. Thank you. Will someone please second the motion? Thank you, sir. Okay. Those in favor, please raise your hands. Those opposing?
Louder, please.
Oh, you can't hear me? No. Hey, what's wrong with the mic? Hello?
Dead.
Okay. No, these are for the
What is that?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your hands. Those opposing the motion? I I take the motion has been passed and we accept the annual report for the year ended 2022. We now come to item 2 on the agenda, which is to declare dividend. I propose that the meeting accepts the recommendation of the board and declare a final dividend of 30 bututs per share for the year ended 31st December 2022. Would someone please rise and second the motion? Name Raymond Suleiman Nyas. Okay, Nyas. Thank you. Any questions? Would someone please second the motion? Okay, you have the name and everything. Okay. Am I messing up to the... Yeah. Okay. I declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Okay. Can you please vote for the motion? Those in favor? Those against? No, but hey, everybody wants the other. Okay. Number 3, the next item on the agenda is a re-election of retiring directors. Since my name is right, I think MD, you have to do this for me. Okay. Yeah. I'll pass it to the MD since I'm one of the retiring directors in that council.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the re-election of retiring directors. The directors to be re-elected, we will do them individually. The first one would be Mr. Franklin Hayford. You can see the bios of the directors on pages 66 and 67 of the report. May I ask for somebody to please rise and second the motion for the reappointment of Mr. Franklin Hayford? Thank you, sir. Can I have somebody please rise to second the motion? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions before the resolution is put to the meeting? Okay, in the absence of questions, I now put the motion to the meeting. Would all those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hand? Thank you. Would anyone objecting to this resolution please signify by raising their right hand? Thank you. Congratulations, Chairman. You have been duly re-elected.
Thank you. Okay. Now I think I can continue from where I left off. The second director retiring and being renominated is Mr. Ansmana L.N. Ture. Mr. Ture, if you could. And the bio of Mr. Ture is on page, is it 77? 66, 67, for those who want to read more about him. Would someone please rise and second the motion? Thank you. Are there any questions before the resolution is put to the meeting? I'll now put the motion to the meeting. Would all those in favor of this resolution signify by raising their right hand? Would anyone objecting to this resolution please signify by raising their right hand? Let me look at people. Okay. I declare that the resolution has been duly carried. And Mr. Ture, congratulations. Okay. She missed it. Okay. Okay. The next resolution is to ratify the appointment of the following directors: Mr. Salun Malang, Mrs. Hadi Salah, and Mr. Abdullah Jalu. Would someone please rise and second the motion? Okay. Are there any questions before the resolution is put to the meeting? As there are no questions, I now put the motion to the meeting. Would all those in favor of this resolution signify by raising their right hand? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys. For the next one. No objections? Looking again to see who is going to object. Okay. I think the motion has been duly carried. Okay. The next one, and I'm looking at people seriously with this one, relates to approve the remuneration of directors. The board fees have remained unchanged since 2019, and it's been 15,000 for. It was increased from 15 to 25,000 in 2019. We propose an increase from 25 to 35,000 per director and 40,000 for the chair. Would someone please raise their right hand to second the motion? Any questions? As there are no questions to the motion, would all those in favor of this resolution please signify by raising their right hand? We vote for the resolution. No objections. I declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Down to yeah, that's it. Well, next is item 5 on the agenda, to appoint the auditors of the bank until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. We currently have Messrs. DT Associates as our auditors, and we wish to retain them for the next year. Would someone please rise to second the motion? Thank you. Are there any questions before the resolution is put to the meeting? I now put the motion to the meeting. Will all those in favor of this resolution signify by raising their right hand? Would anyone objecting to this resolution please signify by raising their right hand? Okay. I declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Item 6 on the agenda is to authorize the board to determine the remuneration of the auditors. What are they? Okay. Would someone please rise to second the motion? Auditors are not very important. Okay. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? As there are no questions, I now put the motion to the meeting. Will all those in favor of this resolution signify by raising their right hand? Would anyone objecting please signify by raising their right hand? I declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Item 7 on the agenda is any other business. Sorry. Okay, best practice is we change the auditors every 5
to
7 years.
5 to
7 years. Yeah. And they've been with us for 3.
No, audit of 2018.
Okay, since 2018, yeah. Since 2018, yeah. Thank you. If you recall, before that, we had PKF Associates. They were with us before. Yeah. Okay. Item 7 on the agenda is any other business. Is that it? Okay. Okay. And this has to be business that is appropriate to be dealt at the annual general meeting. So if there are any other business, if members can raise their hands and we discuss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You never sound like a broken record, sir.
Achieved as shareholders, as management, and as board of Trust Bank is something that should be a case study in our universities. If you go to the University of Gambia, they are giving you case studies of institutions that are unknown to Gambians. But we have several success stories, notable among which is Trust Bank. I took it upon myself when you were celebrating the 25th anniversary of the bank to do a 25 quiz questions. And I circulated it to some of your staff, and I will not disclose the results. But it was just to show how much we know about Trust Bank and what was the genesis of Trust Bank and what are the prospects. And I think these are issues that should form case studies for our universities, and not to come to university and give us generic case studies that we cannot put faces to. So the point I'm trying to make is that there are so many golden opportunities. But I always say that in life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And we need to go out proactively to do certain things that will allow us to see the full maximization of the Gambia. I was talking to Mr. Hobeika before the meeting started, and Angela can bear witness. Tourism is going down by leaps and bounds in this country from what it used to be. Angela knows the story better than I do. If she were to tell you the genesis of how Gambia Experience started and where Gambia Experience is now, you will be amazed. But we don't share those stories. We cannot continue to be a destination where we depend on winter tourism, which is 4 months in the year, now is 3 months in the year. With the vexation of the airport tax, tour operators, particularly in Scandinavia, are saying we are not coming to Gambia. And we take it as given. It should not be. We have seen, Banjul breweries shut down and move their operations to Senegal. And we take it as normal. It should not happen. We have to be proactive. We know for sure that the African Development Bank is working on different platforms to empower banks and give them line of credits so that they can propel the economies of these countries. There is Feed Africa. I make it a point to attend all these summits at my own expense. I was in Dakar. Feed Africa Summit, they have pledged $4 billion for agricultural self-sustainability in Africa. The Gambia's Agricultural Development Program, the amount of quantum of funds we require is only 112 million. We are not taking advantage. Fast forward on infrastructure. We know we are losing, we have lost our the competition to our neighboring countries. We still continue to have one port authority. As a businessman, it's easier if I sit in the US and I want to send a container to Banjul. Mass line will tell me it will take you minimum 8 weeks. If I change the destination to Senegal, it will get there in 3 weeks. And we take it as normal. It's not normal. In the Fourth Republic, when the economy was barely $100 million, the Gambia used to have ocean-going vessels, MV Bintang Bolong, Lady Chilel, not to talk of Lady Wright. We had a partnership for airline operations. British Airways flying to Banjul. We negotiated at the time and we were shareholders. 40% belonged to government. British Caledonian, Tito. The hotel we are sitting today was public-private partnership. Angela can bear me witness. Senegambia Hotel was PPP with the Norwegians. It gave rise to Kairaba Beach Hotel. Sunwing Hotel, which is now owned by Social Security, was also a public-private partnership. We have Gambia Airways. A friend of mine used to say, stop calling it Gambia Airways because all they have is stairways. And Gambia Airways used to fly. We pioneered on the late Salifou Jallow and Ousseynou Ndiaye. We went to Japan and got YS-11 aircrafts. And we're doing Banjul Dakar, Banjul Freetown, and Banjul, Liberia. Ditto with British Caledonia and British Airways. So we have lost our mantra as the entreport of the Gambia, as the entreport for West Africa. We used to call it the gateway to Africa, or particularly to West Africa. I remember when Edward Singate was Minister of Trade, we met his counterparts in Dakar. And the usual line was Gambia, the gateway to West Africa. And his counterpart listened to him attentively and said, yes, you used to be the front gate, but now you are the back gate. That speaks volumes. And when I look around, we talk about the diaspora. Remittances from the diaspora is $700 million into this country every year. Do we have an outreach program to meet the Gambians in the diaspora? As we speak, Senegal, they go out every year with their investors, with their social security, with their housing institutions and their banks. And they have meet and greet in all jurisdictions where there is a heavy population of Senegalese. We have done so in the past. With Trust Bank, we went to Atlanta, July 4th. We went to Miami, Memorial Day. When we went to Miami, they gave us the green light that for tourism in Gambia to survive, you need proximity advantage. And they offered to have flights from Miami to Banjul. Mr. Chairman, it's a 6-hour flight direct from Miami to Banjul. And the biggest African American population outside of mainland Africa is in South America and the Caribbean. You can imagine what will happen if we have direct flights from Miami to Banjul. Anytime you sit down to eat, any day, anytime, look at what you are eating. It's all imported. We used to be in a situation where most of the horticultural produce of the Gambia found their way into supermarkets in the UK. Our fish products, NPE, was the mainstay in all of those jurisdictions. It used to happen. It's not a pipe dream. The late Freddie Blell started his business by selling hides and skins to Italy, wet blue hides and skins from Abuko. Need I say more? The answer is in your hands. Thank you.
No other questions? I think when Mr. Turin speaks, normally no one speaks after him. So. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the business for the day, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Board of Directors for attending this meeting and for showing such interest in the affairs of your company. I hereby declare the meeting formally closed. Refreshments have been arranged, and I'll have the pleasure in inviting you to join the directors, management, and staff. We would end the meeting in prayer by Alex.
We ask that you shower your blessings upon our management, from the chairman right down, so that they have the strength, might, and power to be able to steer this bank into the right direction. Father God, we ask for Johnny mercy. May you guide everyone that is here to have a successful journey back home. And we thank you for blessing everyone. We thank you for guiding us throughout our deliberation. In Jesus' name we pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 butut per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 butut per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over